Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Alec Baldwin's First Month in Jail. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you please post a link of today's episode on all your social media to help us spread the word. Now, let's get started. Today, we're going to ask a hypothetical question. If Alec Baldwin were to go to jail, what would his first month in jail be like? Now, keep in mind, he hasn't been charged or convicted of anything, so this is purely a hypothetical question. If he was sent to jail, what would that month be like? We looked into this and we researched what has happened to other celebrities in jail, and here is what we found out. The first question is, what prison does he end up in? If it's a high security prison with very serious criminals, murderers, rapists, then that's one thing. If it's a low-level country club, white-collar criminal prison, then that is another thing. Let's say that he goes to a prison with many murderers and serious offenders inside it. The next question is, does the warden put Alec Baldwin in solitary confinement? Well, that depends. The base sentence for involuntary manslaughter under federal sentencing guidelines is 10 to 16 months in prison. And of course, that increases if the crime was committed through an act of reckless conduct. Let's say that they decide to give Alec a 16-month term. Then what? He shows up in prison and they begin to process him. They inspect him, they delouse him, they shower him, they assign him clothes, and then he is sent to his cell. He's still either going to be in solitary confinement or a shared prison cell with other prisoners. If he's in solitary confinement, then that means 23 hours a day in his cell and 1 hour a day on the outside, where he gets to go outside and stare at the sky and maybe try and talk to birds, whatever he does. Being confined for 23 hours each day is going to be either very difficult or very easy for him. It all depends on his attitude and his psychological strength. We suspect that with his temperament, Alec would hate it. Now, if he's put in with the general population and he's in a low security country club type prison, then he may be able to socialize with some of the other low security prisoners. That may either be a good thing or a very bad thing. One of the things that happens in so many prisons is that people start to extort money from you soon after you arrive. There was a rumor that John Gotti had to pay $500,000 to prevent another gang from killing him in prison. By the way, that's $500,000 a month. If that happens to Alec, then I suspect he has enough to pay that much money for 16 months. If he resists and causes them to beat him up and coerce him into paying, then that's another path entirely. We suspect that one good beating and Alec will fold like a house of cards and start paying. Of course, there are things worse in prison than getting a beating. They could gang rape him. They could gang rape him on a regular basis. If that happens, then he would have to figure out a way to prevent it from continuing. He might ask the warden to put him in solitary confinement or ask them to send him to another prison. Alec will probably want to stay at prison so he can be close to his family so that they can visit him on a regular basis. The problem is that you don't always get to decide which prison you will be sent to. Sometimes your lawyer can negotiate where the prosecutor sends you, and sometimes they can't. One of Alec's biggest problems is that he seems to be like a guy most people love to hate the moment they meet him. In New York, he's often filmed going after people over parking lot disputes or because paparazzi filmed him. That could easily be a fatal mistake in prison. If he lunged at or punched someone once he was in prison, then he would quickly find out the huge difference between a prison fight and a movie fight or a fight on television. In prison fights, people will gouge your eyes out or they will stick you with a shank, and they'll do whatever they can to bleed you out as quickly as possible. Sometimes if you're attacked, you'll die before the guards even get to you. Another option would be for Alec to pay a person or a gang to protect him from other predators. That might be a more affordable option for him than the alternatives. The good news is that he might get less jail time than many other people because manslaughter is not as egregious as murder. The sentences are shorter. His safest bet might be to sit in solitary confinement for the entire 16 months and avoid getting stabbed or raped by someone simply because they don't like him. Whatever happens to Alec, he's going to have to do something that will be almost impossible for a guy with his huge ego. He will have to humble himself the entire time he's in prison, or he'll find out just how vulnerable and weak he really is. Let's hope it never comes to all of this for him. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode of our show. Also, please make sure to post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Thank you, and we shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.